here and I'm going to get started. Okay, just making sure I've got everything set up. We're good to go. Okay, hi. For everyone who's joined, thank you for joining. I would love to know in the chat where you're from or how long that you've been widowed. That just helps me know a little bit more like who's in the audience and who I can speak to. And the goal for today is to share with you what the Brave Widow Academy is and to answer all of the questions that I've received about it. So, what is the Brave Widow Academy? The simplest way that I can explain it is a program and container that I have created after my own experience, after having invested in multiple programs and coaching and doing the work myself, and also years of coaching other widows on healing their heart as a foundation and grief recovery as a foundation, but really a place where we start to rebuild our life from the ashes. Naomi, 13 years widowed. Thank you for sharing that. If you think about most typical, and I'm going to stereotype, I actually am licensed and certified to facilitate one of the grief recovery programs that are out there. I love it. I use it as a tool. It's part of my program. But what often happens is people go through a grief recovery program, whether it's Grief Share, Grief Recovery Method, there are several out there, and they learn about grief. They learn how to navigate grief. Maybe you even learn some tools and you get equipped with some tools. And then you get released back out into the world. And so most widows come to me, and the number one question they have is, what am I supposed to do next? Is this it? This right here? This is my life, my reality now? Like I'm just supposed to go out there and figure it out? So I started Brave Widow because I and everyone else that I knew as a widow was extremely confused and lost. Okay, you go to counseling, you go to grief groups, you do the work, right? You take the time to emotionally heal and process, but then what are you supposed to do with the rest of your life when you don't even know who you are anymore? You don't know what you want for your future because the dreams and goals that you had are gone. They evaporated with your person. Cindy, 3 years this August. Welcome, Cindy. And so I created Brave Widow Academy as a framework and a space where widows can join other widows who are on this journey of rebuilding a whole new life for themselves. So often we want to go back to the life that we had. We want to go back to feeling normal. We want to go back to the person that we were, when the reality is we can't go backwards. We can't go backwards. But what we can do is we can decide that we're going to rebuild something new and rebuild a new life. As I share with you today all about the Academy and answer the questions that I've received, I want you to remember, because things can be very overwhelming, right? You don't have to remember everything I tell you about the Academy. There's no pop quiz, there's no test. Don't worry. You don't have to remember all the details, but know that everything in the academy is designed to help you go from feeling stuck, from feeling like you're just surviving, from feeling like you're just kind of hollow and going through the motions. Do you guys feel like that? Like you're just going through the motions, to actually feeling very clear on who you are, on what your next step is, on feeling connected with other people. So if you're feeling lonely and isolated, we teach you how to build friendships. You also have the opportunity to connect with widows there. And we teach you how to be hopeful again. So in the academy, I have five, I call them modules or steps, however you want to think about it, that I walk you through. It's our curriculum, our syllabus. I walk you through over the next 6 months what this framework is that will help you go from an emotional chaos to a life that actually feels like yours. And so, one of the questions I often ask people is, when is the last time you actually felt alive? When was the last time you actually did something fun? And a lot of times we can go for years just feeling like a shadow of ourselves and feeling very hollow and very dull. Okay, so in the academy, one of the questions I got is, okay, what's all in the academy? So it's everything that you need to be able to move forward emotionally, spiritually, practically, with guidance every step of the way. We meet every Monday from 12 to noon Central Time. So this is 12 Central Time in case you're in a different time zone. So we meet this time on Mondays for 2 hours every single week. The first hour is typically me providing education and helping you learn and grow. And the second hour is open coaching. So, questions you might have, feedback that you want, input that you need. You have time for that every single week. So, every week we come together live. We talk through your biggest roadblocks, your questions, your next steps. This isn't something that you're in a big sea of people and you're just listening and you're passively taking it in. You get real coaching, real feedback, and breakthroughs that you can experience. So, just the calls alone are worth the investment of the program. So then we have 5 frameworks that we walk through as we're moving through our journey together. Okay, let's do this. Okay. So the first one that we walk through is called the Chaos to Calm Blueprint. So in the Chaos to Calm Blueprint, you are going to be able to find peace, develop a routine, find relief from being overwhelmed so that you can actually breathe again and stop living in survival mode. How many of you feel like you're in survival mode, like fight or flight mode, or you're all tensed up all the time, or you're living on adrenaline, you're living on just being very reactionary to everything that's happening around you? Maybe you feel very overwhelmed or like you can't get things done that are on your to-do list. You can't ever find time to do them. So we tackle that in the first module, Chaos to Calm. The second module we have is the self-trust system. So this is where you stop second guessing every decision. You learn how to trust yourself. You learned how to make confident decisions, and you learned how to actually feel good about your decisions. Okay. Catherine, yes, I am trained and certified by multiple organizations. And share my full story on some other videos. I would be happy to send you the link to those videos explaining my journey. But I'm certified by multiple accredited organizations. The connection protocol. So this is our third module that we walk through. So connection protocol is how do we go and meet people and make friends, even if you are an introvert, even if you're a homebody, even if you hate small talk? Like, how do you actually make friends out there in the real world? I always felt, is there an app for that? Is there like, I feel so awkward. The fourth module we walk through is discover your purpose plan. So this is really getting clarity around what makes life meaningful without feeling the pressure of having to have this really big mission. Oh, this is my one purpose in life, right? You can have purpose and you can have meaning without having to have that big mission. And then the last one is the move forward method, which is how you honor your past and you honor the love and the life that you had while also building a life that you can love and enjoy again. How to navigate guilt, how to define healing on your terms, and to know what comes next. So, all of that is part of the academy. You also will have private one on one messaging support with me. You can message me 24/7, 365. I respond to messages typically twice a day, Monday through Friday. But what I love about this and where people get really comfortable is sometimes you need to just verbally process stuff. You just need someone to talk things out with. You just need to say it out loud. You need to, maybe you get caught up in, I call it a mind, like a thought spiral, where it's just like all these negative thoughts over and over, and like you can't get out of it. And you just need someone to shake you awake or get you like refocused on things. And normally, our one on one messaging support is about half the cost of the entire program itself, but you will get that included as part of the overall program. So you can text, you can send voice messages, you can send video messages, whatever you're most comfortable with, but you are part of the group. And then you also get one-on-one private messaging support. You also, I don't know if I'm going to offer this going forward, but this time I'm going to do 3 private one-on-one coaching calls. So for people who are part of the academy, but not the full one-on-one coaching, I'm also giving those folks one-on-one coaching calls. And you can use them whenever. I would do one like beginning, middle, and end, but you have that as a deeper dive of support and strategy on exactly what you could focus on next. Okay. For those of you that are joining, if you have questions, just toss them in the chat and I will get to those questions. Hi, Sue. Good to see you. Sue, now Sue's a real Brave Widow OG. She's been with me almost 3 years now. Marianne, Karen, really good to see you guys. Okay, so let me get back to my question list here. So if you have a question, throw it in the chat and I will answer it for you. What if I can't attend live? Do you record the calls? Yes, all of the calls are recorded and we upload them into a private portal so that you don't ever fall behind. So you can watch the replay anytime. I also upload them to a private podcast. So if you're someone who likes to multitask or listen to them in the car, listen to them on the go, you have access to listen to all of the replays. So if you can't come live for some reason, it's not a problem. You have access to that. Okay, the next question. How much time should I plan to spend each week? So really, it's very flexible. Our weekly call is 2 hours a week, and we do it on Mondays. And when we first did this, I wasn't sure how people would respond to it being on Mondays, but the feedback that I ended up getting was that they love Mondays because Monday sets the tone for the rest of the week and gets them up on the right, gets them started, sets the tone. They know that they're supported for that week. So we have 2 hours for our weekly call, and then typically people might spend another hour or so just going through the materials, reflecting. There's typically no major homework or quizzes or anything that we assign there. But what I encourage people to do is from the learning and the coaching that we do every single week is to pick one thing. Just pick one thing that you want to implement or that you want to focus on for that week. Okay, my next question. What technology do I need to participate? We meet over on Zoom. So if you're on Zoom with me, then okay, you have access to the app and you can connect. A lot of people now are connecting on their phone rather than connecting on their computer. So you can connect through Zoom, and we're also using the Telegram app, which is a free app for messaging, for chatting. I'm going to put the links in there just to make it as easy as possible to get connected on the calls and all of that. Okay. Just checking my chat. Go. Okay. And I don't know. Sorry, I highlighted. I don't know how I did this on my Zoom screen. 1 second. Okay, I don't know. Hopefully it's just a weird view I have on my side and not on everybody's side. Anyways, we're moving on. Okay, how will I personally be supported through the academy? Every week, not only do we have the group where we're meeting together, but then also I have a form, call it a progress tracking form, that you would complete each week. And I set aside time on the call to do it, so you don't have to do it in your free time on your own. Okay, so based on what you supply through the feedback form, then I'm able to give you specific feedback, whether it's just written feedback back to you or whether it's recording a video and sending it to you. And then again, for this round only, I'm also including 3 private one-on-one coaching calls to make sure that you're fully supported and that you're not struggling, not feeling overwhelmed, or any of that. Okay, my next question. Do I have to talk in front of other people? Here's the thing. While I would love for you to share and participate as part of the group, there's definitely not a requirement. And I will never ask you to share something that you're not comfortable sharing. So whether it's part of our live group, whether it's in the chat, whether it's in our one-on-one, it really is up to you on how much you want to share and how much that you want to participate. One of the great things about being in a group coaching experience is that you get to learn from other people's experiences. So things that they're going through, you might go through in the future, or you might be able to pull out a lesson that you could apply to yourself. The other great thing about group is that you can also prevent problems that you haven't faced yet, or maybe that are coming down the road. So, for example, we have several widows right now, like literally right now, who are in the process of selling their house, buying a house, building a house, and then I have others who are thinking about buying and selling a house in the future. And you don't necessarily think about buying or selling a house as something that would be part of a widow coaching program, but this can be a really big emotional roller coaster of an experience. It can be overwhelming because there are a lot of steps and things to consider. So even if this is something that you're thinking of buying or selling a house a couple years down the road, you get to learn and watch other people's experience as they're going through that and then learn from that and apply that to yourself in the future. Okay, I'm just going to scroll here. If you have any questions, drop it in the chat for me. Okay. Where did you go to training? Okay, so I was certified through the Faith-Based Coaching Academy, which was is accredited and was founded by a 20-year practicing clinical psychologist. And what I loved about her program was she incorporated psychology, tools, counseling, coaching, and spirituality and faith, which is very rare to find in an experience or a program like that to incorporate all of those things together. But it was an amazing experience. And she also had shared a story where she had lost her own daughter in a terrible drowning incident at her own home. And so I was really drawn to the fact that she was familiar with grief and she actually has a grief program called Hurt to Hope. I got training from her and then also from the Grief Recovery Institute, which is the only evidence-based grief recovery program in the world, which is awesome and I love it. So those are the two main places that would apply here. Okay. How is the Academy different from other grief support groups? It's a great question. There's another question here about therapy. So if I've tried therapy or I've done grief groups, like how would this be different? What is different about this? So what we do very much complements grief support and therapy. So I view emotional healing and grief recovery as the foundation, like it's the beginning. Okay, so we want to start from a place of processing our grief, of healing emotionally, and then that's where we want to start. In a grief support group or a grief recovery group, a lot of times that's where it ends. It's, oh, we've taught you the tools, you've gone through this multi-week program, now you're finished and you can go through it again. But where they finish is where we pick up, which is essentially our focus is to help people rebuild to create something that they can enjoy again, they can love again, that they can be excited about. So it's beyond emotional healing and more into decision making, rebuilding confidence, making friends, discovering your purpose, and creating what you want this next chapter to be. So it's not just about talking about the past, although that is very much part of what we do. We're doing both at the same time. We're processing and honoring the past, and we're building and creating the future. And we do both simultaneously. And it's one of those things you may just have to experience it to understand it. That's what we do. Okay, what can I expect to actually change in my life as I'm going through this? So, one of the things that I love about what we're going to be doing in the academy is that, and one thing I love about coaching is that it's very action based. It's very forward focused. So, you don't come to the academy and listen to a lecture and take notes and get a pop quiz or a test. In the academy, you are going to learn a lot. And it's going to be like the reason it's over 6 months is because I don't want it to be overwhelming, but you are going to learn things at a very in-depth level that then you take and apply in your real life. So it's not just about learning theories, it's not just about learning, oh, how does it work to make friends? Each week, you'll have something that you focus on or implement that you actually do, that you actually take action on. And so, my philosophy is that I like to push people just on the outside edge of their comfort zone. in a gentle but very firm way of you don't have to feel ready, you don't have to feel comfortable, you just have to take the next step. And we call it Brave Widow because we step forward through the fear. We step forward through the uncertainty to actually do things. Bravery isn't, I feel confident, I'm comfortable, I can do all this, and I have no fear. Bravery is, I feel the fear, I feel the anxiety, I feel the uncertainty, I feel like what, throwing up, and I'm going to step forward and do it anyway. And by stepping forward, I am building my confidence. And the more I step forward through fear, the more I step forward and do something that's just outside of my comfort zone, the easier that it's going to get over time. That is what we are focused on in Brave Widow. Sue says being here is a beautiful way to step forward. Yes, what a great point. Being here with me, with each other, is a beautiful way of stepping forward. Excuse me. Do you offer payment plans or flexibility? So, yes, we do a monthly payment plan at $600 a month. Or if you want to pay in full, it is a discounted rate of $3,000 for the full 6-month program, and you can start receiving support right away. The real question, because people get very squishy around cost and am I worth investing in? And is this something that I should do for myself? And I don't know, that just sounds like a lot. But the reality is where you are right now, by joining, you are investing in yourself. By not joining, it is still costing you. What I like to ask people is if you continue to stay stuck and frustrated and just waiting for time to magically make things better, what does it cost you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially? What does it cost you to stay there? For me, I would have paid anything. I would have paid and done anything. For me personally, I was not satisfied just knowing how to help myself, how to get myself out of a rut, how to get through grief. But I invested multiple tens of thousands of dollars to learn from some of the best. Like, how do you actually go from I'm completely shattered, my life is in ashes, to I have an amazing, vibrant life that I love while still loving the life that I had and being able to hold both of those at the same time. So for me, I was willing to pay anything to get unstuck because I hated where I was. I hated feeling lost and feeling frustrated and nobody understood or got it. And I didn't want to stay stuck there. Do you offer any kind of guarantee? Yes. If you show up to the call, if you participate by completing your form each week and by implementing action, and at the end of 6 months, you still come and say, you know what? I didn't move forward at all. I didn't see any progress. Nothing changed for me. If that is truly how you feel at the end of 6 months, I will continue to work with you for free until you feel you have moved forward. There is not one person, not one, that I have worked with over the past 2.5 years who has not been able to say that they have moved forward. And one of the ways we track that is through your weekly tracking form so that you can see it for yourself, so that you can see, oh, when I first started, my confidence was a 2. And 6 months later, oh my gosh, my confidence, I'm putting like 8s and 9s on confidence every week. Whoa, look at me. I feel so much more confident. So that is part of how we track how you're doing in different categories and areas so that you can see for yourself that you have been able to move forward. What, let me read this question a little closer. What if I'm the only one who feels broken or lost? Okay, I'm going to pause here for just a second. The first thing that I want you to hear is that you are not broken. You're not broken. You might feel broken and your heart might feel broken. You may be heartbroken, but you as a person are not broken. You don't need to be fixed. You might feel lost. You might feel stuck. You might feel uncertain, but you're not broken. And so you're not going to be the only person who feels lost, stuck, unsure, unclear. That's 90% of people that I talk to, okay? But this program helps to give you structure, guidance in your exact next step so that you don't feel lost. You don't feel unsure. What should I be focusing on? What should I be doing? You're going to know every single week. Okay. Now, it's true that everyone has a very different grief experience. Everyone's experience is unique. Even if you lost your spouse the same way as me, the same way as someone else, it doesn't matter because your relationship was unique and different. So even though sometimes we look at grief, you guys can let me know if you've ever done this, but sometimes we look at our grief experience and someone else's, and we go, oh, at least I guess I shouldn't feel so bad because at least I didn't have to go through that. Or we feel righteous. Oh, that person, yeah, they had a loss, but me, I had it way worse. We compare. And the reality is, we all have a different grief experience. But when people grieve, they don't grieve halfway. This is what Grief Recovery Institute teaches us. You don't grieve at 50%. When someone grieves, they grieve at 100%. So it doesn't matter if you were married 1 year or 90 years, or if you had kids or you weren't able to have kids, or whatever your experience, you had a great relationship with your spouse, you had the worst relationship with your spouse. Grief is grief, pain is pain. And so everyone's experience is different, but everyone experiences grief fully for them. Okay, next question. What if other people are further along than me? So the framework that we walk through, the curriculum, the syllabus, whatever you want to call it, the modules, they are designed to meet you where you are and help you take your exact next step forward. So it doesn't matter if you feel like you're in the beginning and you're in deep grief. If you are in deep grief, I'm going to recommend that you do Grief Recovery Method parallel to the Academy. So Grief Recovery Method, we're starting another group, I think in September. So I recommend that you do that like supplemental with the Academy. But if you are further along, you are still going to have things that you're doing, learning, and growing from. Every week, you will be able to find something that you can take away, something from that, and apply it into your life. Have you guys ever done yoga or like an exercise class? If you have, this might resonate with you. One thing that I liked about yoga is when you go to yoga, you have people who are like, it's their first session and they're brand new. And you have people that have been doing it for years and years, right? So you have people that are doing like the handstands and all the funky positions and they like able to do all this. And then you would have like me who could barely touch their toes, right? But the great thing about yoga is everyone can come and everyone might have a different level of what all they can do, but the instructor accommodates to that person. That instructor meets the person where they are and gives them what they can work on and moves on to the next person. And for each person, the instructor is just pushing them one step forward, pushing them another step forward. There's no guilt, there's no shame. If you just need to lay there and rest, nobody cares. It's like everyone is doing what they can and everyone is trying to push themselves one step further, but everyone is on the same journey. So think about that maybe as an analogy with Brave Widow. I'm not sure if I'm ready. How will I know? Okay. I always love this question about being ready. I'm not sure I'm ready. Someone else asked it, like maybe the academy sounds a little advanced. I don't know if I'm ready for that. So here's what I would say. You are when you decide that you're ready. Nobody feels ready. You become ready by taking one brave step, and then we walk every step with you. The harsh reality, one of the biggest myths in grief, you've heard people say, time heals all wounds, just give it time, just give it time, you're going to feel better. The reality is that time alone doesn't heal you. Time on its own doesn't help you feel ready. Okay. So time mixed with action is what helps you to feel confident, helps you to feel ready, helps you to be ready to take that next step. So the reason I call it Brave Widow and not Fearless Widow is because bravery requires something special. Bravery requires that you step forward into the future version of yourself before you feel confident, before you have all the answers, before you know how it's all going to work out. Being brave is stepping forward in faith, believing that some way, somehow, it is possible to have a life that you love and enjoy again, even if you don't see the path to getting there. So you're ready when you decide that you're ready. Okay, I have just a couple questions left on my list. So if you guys have any other questions, throw them in the chat for me. Gone through a lot. I'm all like a question marathon. Okay. What if I've been stuck for years? Will this still help me? 1,000% yes. So many of the people that I talk to or that I have worked with have felt stuck for a period of time, whether it's for a year, 4 years, 5 years. One of the widow clients that I work with has been stuck for 10 years before she started working with me. Okay. The great news, the most wonderful, amazing news is it doesn't matter how long you've been stuck. It will not take you that long to get unstuck. What I typically see with most of my clients, sorry, I've got to go to the doctor and knock this cough out. It's annoying. It's annoying me. I know it has to be annoying you. Okay. So what I see with most of my clients is that within the first month, they're feeling more hopeful than they have in a long time. More hopeful, maybe even than years. I have a widower client, and that's exactly what he said in the first two calls. You've given me more hope on these first couple of calls than I've had in years. Literally. Okay. So in the first month, typically they feel more hopeful. In the first 3 months, they start to notice, like, oh, I'm showing up a little bit differently. I'm looking at life a little bit differently. I'm starting to see some traction. I'm getting my feet underneath me. And then typically at the 6 month mark, from 3 to 6 months, is typically where people start taking really big steps forward. Okay. So the first month, it's, oh, I can see this is exciting. I see I'm taking my baby steps. And from month 1 to 3, I'm taking more and more baby steps. And in month 3, I'm rebuilding my confidence and I'm getting excited about trying things that are scary and new and different and awkward and weird. And so in month 3, I'm going to take my next big step and, oh, look at me, I did it. And then I'm taking another big step. And then I keep going, I keep going. And usually by 6 months, they look back and they're like, wow, I just feel like a different person. You can listen to Michelle's story on my website. But Michelle, in 6 months, she's come up to our celebration call and who am I on this call? Listen to me. My confidence is like way up here, and my confidence used to be so low. And I'm listening to myself like, who am I? I don't even recognize myself. I'm a totally different person. So it doesn't matter if you have felt stuck for years, you can see progress in a short amount of time. Now, to be fair, does that mean that your life is perfect in 6 months? Of course not. I can't promise you that. My life isn't perfect. Okay. But in 6 months, you are going to see some really big shifts and changes in your life, and other people will start to notice those changes. If I've been stuck for years, will this really work? Yes. So the biggest reason why people feel stuck, there's lots of reasons why, but the biggest thing and the number one focus, the number one reason why Brave Widow exists is to get people unstuck. So you feel stuck, you've tried counseling, you've tried therapy, you've tried the books, you've tried the podcast, you've tried the courses, you've tried a lot of things, but you still feel like there's no roadmap, there's no blueprint here. What am I supposed to be doing? Like, somebody, please, I wanted the checklist. Like, just give me the checklist of what all I need to do. And that's what this program helps to give you, is like your next step forward. So by taking steps forward, by default, you become unstuck. You're not stuck anymore. And even when you are moving forward, even when you are in a good place and then you have a bad day or you have a hard moment or you got overwhelmed and it brought you down to your knees and you are like, oh, I feel like I'm going backwards. The reality is you're not going backwards. You haven't started over. It's part of the process. You're going to have days that are harder. You're going to have moments that are harder. And what we learn to do is expand our capacity and be able to hold both, which is I can grieve and be sad and miss my person, and I can still experience joy and hope that my life isn't over anymore, that I can build something new. Okay, that is my list of questions I had for today. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. If you have any other questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, or you can, if you're on YouTube, or I guess if you're on YouTube, you can't DM me. You just have to comment and I'll get back to you. For my TikTok audience, you guys can comment or DM me, and you can go to bravewidow.com. You'll find the link to the Academy. You can also schedule a one-on-one consult. I do those for free. I will actually even provide you a document of these are the things you expressed were your challenges, and this is the way that I would help you move forward and the things that we would focus on and how the Academy would help you. And so you get all of that. I'm not a big salesy, pressury person because I believe the people that are meant to work with me are going to be called out. They're going to be pulled forward. They're going to be attracted to me and Brave Widow and the work that we do there. Really, my goal is just to help widows heal their heart and build a life that they love again. So, thank you all so much for joining me. I would love to see you in the Academy. We kick off on Monday. And Monday it would have been our 24th. 24th. Wow. Why does that sound weird? We would have been married for 24 years on Monday. And so Monday is a special day for me. And I'm excited for everyone who's in the Academy and for everyone who will be joining us in the future. With that, thank you guys very much. And I will see you next time. Sue says, thank you for all you do, widow. Thank you for all you do for widows, Emily. You are welcome. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you and love you. And to my Brave Widow tribe that's on, I will see you on Monday.